Hello swaggers, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I am updating this channel. I have in the past not been great with the SCP Foundation on this. From now on, there will be a link in all of my videos for the SCP files in the description below, and I'll make a very, very, very certain that I put that in the video so y'all can go and support the website. What I want to say is that I am going to try to come back to doing this as often as I can. I probably won't be doing this like every day like I have been doing, but I'll try to do at least once a week. This video, I could not believe what happened with this video in particular. I have no idea how much this video got, how much views this video got. And I want to thank every single one of you for clicking on this video and watching it. It means a lot to me to see this video, which I thought was not going to get any views whatsoever, to become one of the most viewed videos on the channel. So I thank every single one of you. And I won't deviate. I just want to get my point across, and I'll let you get back to your scheduled video. Welcome, swaggers, back to the channel. We have returned to the SCP files, and today we return to the SCP-610. As we left off before, we finished the overview, and we also finished the video log that came with it. We have, I think, 4 more video logs, and I'll finish about 2 of them today. If you want to read this on your own, the link to not only the SCP Foundation, but this SCP in particular will be in the description below. Hope you enjoy, swaggers. SCP-610 L2. During construction of the perimeter surrounding SCP-610 containment area, several D-class personnel were infected due to assaults from infected villagers or animals roaming the area, in addition to a number of infections as a result of escape attempts. The careless behavior, most of these infected personnel were immediately destroyed with flamethrowers. However, a small collection of infected were contained in cold storage storage units, which prolong the inevitable progression of SCP-610's mutilative properties. The decision was made to utilize some of these infected personnel as video relays and dispatch them into nearby sites. Due to the concern over the loss of equipment, as evident in SCP-610-L1, all 3 subjects that were used in this manner were sent with a single video system to Site C. Additional equipment issued for this dispatch include a 1-gallon container of gasoline, 3 emergency flares, 3 9mm pistols with 3 magazines of ammo each, 3 single-serving food rations. The infected personnel were instructed to observe and avoid interaction with infected villagers as long as possible, but should a situation arise where they are met with aggression or feel they are losing themselves to SCP-610's influence, they are free to kill as many infected villagers as they choose and do as much damage to infected objects and property as possible, while maintaining video feed. The intent of this order was to provide data of SCP-610 infected communities in a raid situation so a plan of eradication could be better established. At the time of the expedition, Site C was suspected to be a possible origin point of SCP-610, having far fewer mobile infected than other sites, as well as structures which appear to have been laid over several times. With the terraforming effects of the immobile personnel of immobile infected, dispatched Class D personnel, known henceforth as DI-1, DI-2, and DI-3, were directed to pay particular attention to anything that could be considered an origin point of SCP-610. The trek from the perimeter camp to Site C was uneventful. There is no evidence of any native animal life in the area. As Site C is approached, there is a noticeable rise in the temperature within the last 30 meters of the trip. The necessities removal of the heavy cold-based covering that were provided. The temperature rise again sharply at the entrance to Site C. Which requires further shedding of garments for fear of heat stroke. Temperatures within Site C are described as being heavy, humid, and around 32 degrees Celsius, or 89 degrees Fahrenheit. One of the first immediately noticeable traits about Site C is an array of immobile pylons, which encircle what is believed to be the entry of the site. Separated by an apparent distance of 5 to 6 meters, each pylon appears to be 2 to 4 infected persons fused together in one spot. On some of these pylons, features such as faces or a nuisance are still visible, in addition to several other holes which do not naturally occur, all appearing to act as heat vents. Where the heat is generated is unknown. Current belief is that this is an advanced stage of SCP-610 terraforming its environment to facilitate spread of itself. DI-2, who was furthest along in progression of SCP-610 of the other 3 by the number of hours, begins to seizure. After only a few minutes in Site C, during examination of the pylons, the progression of the scar tissue phase of SCP-610 infection is observed in full course as DI-2 spasms on the ground. His entire body begin overtaken by the sticky tan flesh almost entirely after 45 seconds. DI-2 is terminated by a gunshot from DI-1, and his equipment left where it is. The spread of SCP-610 over DI-2 continues even after death of the body, until all movement ceases. The particular control is relying on instructions to DI-1 and DI-3, Regarding this situation, there is a shift in the ground covering in Site C, where DI-2's body is. Video feed shows the flesh-like growths splitting open beneath his body, and a series of ropey tendrils coming within the gap to pull his corpse inside. This opening closes up quickly. Total time elapse 3 seconds. As DI-1 and DI-3 decide to act quickly in these hotter temperatures, fearing the same fate, they proceed to the village center and encounter another previously unknown phenomenon. In the precise center of the town, rising above what is the community well, is a sphere suspended by angled supports, comprised of SCP-610 flesh. The ball is riddled with the features of human and early stages of SCP-610 infection, as well as a good number assumed to be in later stages. A number of specimens of non-human life forms, such as deer and bears, are also visible within the mass. The entire sphere of flesh pulses at roughly 5-second intervals, and each pulse emits a ring of spores like material from its equator. The material floats to the ground and appears to be absorbed into the converted environment. DI-3 begins to dose the sphere with the provided gasoline, and when questioned by the panicking DI-1, explained this looks like as good a thing to burn as any. At this point, perimeter control has ceased giving command due to the rapid deterioration of events. There is no reaction from anything within Site C to any of this activity until the precise moment at which a lit emergency flare is applied to the spherical mass, which immediately goes into flames. The remote feed plays back a noise from an unknown location that seems to come from a location far outside Site C, but was reported as being heard even at perimeter control by both Site C and A. This noise is described as being both explosives, as if multiplied high-yield charges were detonated on a mountainside, and alive, like a large feral creature roaring. Within 15 seconds following the sound dissipation, Site A reported that a series of explosions had occurred within the village. 5 seconds after this report, the spherical mass in the middle of Site C explodes. DI-1 and DI-3 are thrown by the blast. DI-3 is confirmed deceased by DI-1 after regaining his footing, having suffered injury from stone spherical form from the well. DI-1 is able to report he has bruises and ringing ears, but aside from the rapidly spreading SCP-610 infection, he suffered no blast damage. During this recording of footage, DI-1 and his video equipment removed and was looking into it. Due to the angle of the recording, it is unknown precisely what occurred in Site C, but something draws DI-1's attention back to the center of the town, where he stares for several moments, then is pulled in the opposite direction, the video equipment falling to the ground, and recording is a skyward direction. The last moment of footage of DI-1 video unit displays a humanoid figure moving through the air, followed by the sound of an impact in the same direction. Within 3 seconds of the event, an unknown creature steps upon the recording video equipment and destroys it. Perimeter controls remains on high alert for a full 24 hours at all locations without any incident following this event. SCP-610-L3. The destruction caused by the rapid collapse of the Site C explosion attempt during SCP-610-L2 resulted in a series of unexpected events in Site A, as a strange spherical formation in Site C was burned and destroyed. The SCP-610 infected inhabiting at Site A were recorded by aerial drones going into seizures and convulsions. The immobile SCP-610 infected rapidly shriveled and died, along with all the flesh material spread across inanimate objects within the village. The mobile SCP-610 infected, who were able to regain their footing, all proceeded to what appears to have formerly been an upper-class residence and entered the building. As the infected entered the dwelling, it suffered a foundational collapse, revealing the presence of a sinkhole beneath it. The size of the hole is in relation to the structure above it posed an impossibility for an entire building to collapse, suggesting something within the hole applied force directly to the structure with intent to pull it inside and expose the hole. The revealed hole is approximately large enough to accommodate 3 grown men standing shoulder to shoulder. Light sources applied by remote drones failed to penetrate further than 4 meters deep into the hole. Objects dropped into the hole do not produce an impact sound, suggesting a bottom permanently, potentially more than 1,000 meters down. Research of the exterior of Site A hole was only able to be carried out for 2 hours times. Samples of the atmosphere in Site A indicated a complete death of SCP-610. Related materials, all infectious life that did not evacuate into the hole, died from above ground and quickly became shriveled husk. Man exploration of Site A was approved and commenced immediately. Within the span of 30 minutes, a total of 3 research teams consisting of 2 to 3 research staff and 4 to 5 armed escorts each were dispatched and setting up stations within the remains of the village. Samples of deceased SCP-610 infected and converted matter were sent back to Perimeter HQ for processing and transport. One team was able to recover a small sample of still living SCP-610 tissue, substances from the building in the packet for research. Within the second hour of exploration, Site A series of echo reverberations units were sent up surrounding the hole with the intent of getting an accurate mapping of the hole and possible branch tunnels. At the end of the second hour, before the echo units could be activated, seismic activity began to occur within Site A. 2 teams of the original 3 remained on site, the third en route back to Perimeter HQ with samples. The third team was instructed to proceed back to Perimeter HQ when seismic activity began and was told that Site A should not be returned to for assistance. Seismic activity at Site A capped at 2.3 Richter
Richter level before perking off. Immediately following the seismic event, a torrent of SCP-610 spores erupted from the hull and layered the area around it for a span of 50 meters. As all staff on site were in Level A hazardous material suits, the spores burst was startling but did not lead to any infections. As the eruption was being reported, both teams at Site A came under attack from aerial life forms infected with SCP-610.
These organisms were captured by remote drone equipment and showed extremely advanced stages of infection. It is impossible to tell what they mutated from to this present state. Many of the avian creatures attacked by splitting their heads in half and clamping them against research members, pulling them into the air and dropping them into the hull when possible. These avian infected proved vulnerable to small arms fire. In dispatching them, a total of 2 research staff were lost to the hull, and 1 injured due to crossfire. The injured staff was put down immediately upon showing signs of infection due to his suit breach. Before video and radio contact was lost with the remaining teams in Site A, a second seismic event began to occur, starting out in the 1 to 1.5 range in scale. Attention was directed to the hull to prepare for a second assault. A second spore burst erupted from the hull during the rising seismic activity at the point where scales registered to 3.5 in force. A new unseen SCP-610 entity began to emerge from the hull. The only footage captured of this creature depicts an engorged human head approximately 20 times larger than normal, pressing itself out of the hull with no discernible body. Video and radio contact were lost as seismic forces increased to 7 on the scale for 2 seconds duration, when abruptly ceased. Further aerial surveillance of Site A hull, an area depicted 0 activity and no traces of research teams or their ever having been there. All personnel and equipment are considered lost. This is the end of the second part of the SCP Files. I'll do more in the upcoming days for y'all. Thank you, Swaggers, for staying with me. And again, thank you for keeping this channel going. And just thank you, every single one of you, for just being here. Well, this has been another video. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, stay awesome.